AITA for getting rid of our foster kid after she stole medicine from our sick daughter. We were informed of a foster child in need of a home. She's 14, has some behavioral issues, and had mild drug use. We decided to take her in since my wife knew her a bit and thought she was a decent kid who just needed a chance. The placement had its issues. She smoked weed in the house. We told her not to, she did it again. She had friends over, we said no weed, they smoked anyway. Over 5 months, we had good and bad times, but overall it was working. We also have a 5-year-old daughter who got COVID at the end of last year and has had a chronic cough ever since. She is on a medication for the cough so she can sleep at night and for when her coughing fits get bad. Sometimes it sounds like she is gasping for air. It's hard to watch her suffer through this. Last night the foster had friends over and they smoked again. We had planned on talking to her about it after school today. We woke up this morning and the 5-year-old starts coughing. We look for her medicine and we can't find it. My wife finally gives up and goes to the store to buy more. I drive the foster to school and when I return, we find the bottle in her room. It's not empty so we don't freak out. I go to work. Later, my wife goes to give the 5-year-old more medicine and she realizes that the cough medicine that she found in the foster's room is actually Sprite. The foster dumped it all into a Sprite bottle and drank it with her friends for a cheap buzz. Don't know why she filled the medicine bottle back up with Sprite, but whatever. I freaked and had her removed immediately. You can disobey me, you can lie to me, you can steal from me. Once you take from my kid, there is no coming back from that. The fact that she lived across the hall from my daughter and listened to her coughing all day and night and still had the lack of humanity that she felt okay taking her medicine is sickening and represents a depravity I was not prepared for. Behavior issues is one thing, it's almost universal that you don't mess with sick kids. Did I overreact? Edit. Lots of folks are asking about the medicine being locked up. We locked up all medicine and alcohol. We were careless and left it out this time. We weren't diligent this time since we honestly didn't think it was a target, she had only ever smoked weed before. I'm also seeing posts saying we should have known about her substance abuse issues. I agree. I wish the state had better informed us. We were told she had one marijuana incident before and I thought we could handle that. I smoked weed when I was 14 too. I never knew she did other drugs. I didn't really consider children's cough medicine to be a target. It was a mistake. Lastly, we are not foster parents. We did this for a child my wife knew. We were not looking to foster any other kids, we were just trying to help one. We were not prepared for this and are going to focus on our own daughter now. Response 1. NTA, sad face, I feel sad for your family and this poor girl. Life is tough and she's clearly been dealt a bad hand. But you're not the asshole for protecting your child while trying to help another. Response 2. Unfortunately, care to her might look very different than it does to you and I, these things are learned, and now always quickly. Have you spoken with the agency about how she's doing? Is she remorseful for her actions? Or resentful? Would you consider taking her back if she learned a lesson? That sounds harsh, but you get what I mean. You don't need to feel bad. It's a fine line to walk, and if your family's safety is at risk, you're allowed to make the call to protect them. Response 3. A 14-year-old in the foster system has likely seen some shit. I worked at a children's home for a few years, working with high-risk kids. Some of their parents had passed, some were in jail, some just abandoned them. They had behavior like you're describing, BC. That's one of the ways kids try to protect themselves and have some control when the world has been so unsafe for you. It sounds like you don't have the training, experience, or understanding to work with someone like that young woman, which is a shame. I hate to say it, but it probably set her back even more. People told her she had worth and they cared about her and she was in a safe place and then bam, she's out again. It's not that I don't understand wanting to protect your own kid. Whoever set this up failed you and failed her by pairing her with your family. I was a really troubled kid myself. Once adults in your life fail you, it's nearly impossible to trust again, so you push boundaries to see if those adults really mean it. They want to know if you are going to give up on them, too, and if you are going to, the sooner the better in their eyes so they don't get too attached. I'm not voting on this, BC. I think the situation is far too dire for Reddit to vote on. You're always going to see it from a I have to protect my kid lens, and that's fine. But having worked with kids like her, I feel terrible for her. Response 4. Yet I had a friend who came out of a terrible situation, and had a teacher take her in. she truly thought she was in her forever home till she had a mental health break. They left her at the hospital. It destroyed her. It's one thing to be caring, and wanting help vs being prepared and knowledgeable about early childhood trauma. Response 5. I mean honestly, I kept waiting for the bad part of the story. She smoked weed a few times? And swiped some cough syrup they left out? She's not selling the silver or giving blowjobs for meth or running an OnlyFans or stealing the car. I mean, the very fact that she's smoking weed in the house instead of going off with friends and hiding it makes me think she wanted to get caught. Like I said in my first comment, I'm not voting BC. I'm not going to boil this young woman's story down to that. But man, my heart hurts for her. Unprepared foster parents are shocked when troubled kids act like troubled kids.